Right. So, good morning, everyone. Uh, we will continue our discussion on name-based classifier. Right. Meanwhile, people will join. So, let me go back. So, this is the data set which is visible on the left side. So, what I'll do is I'll take Notepad and I'll try to solve this step by step. So we will see the algorithm, the theoretical part of the algorithm after solving the problem so that it becomes easy for us to understand. Right. So friends, name-based classifier, name-based classifier. So name itself says it is used for classification problems. So classification problems can be solved. So here in our training data, if you observe on the left side, so this data set we have used in our decision tree example. So I have 4 attributes called as outlook, temperature, humidity, wind. Playing tennis depends on all these 4 attributes, and playing tennis, its outcome can be either yes or no. Depending upon the values of these 4 parameters, I need to predict whether a person will go for playing tennis or not. So in this case, playing tennis, if you look at the possible values of playing tennis, our outcome variable, there are only 2 possible values, which is yes and no. So which we call them as output classes, right? Or class labels. Class labels. So in this problem, the class labels are 2, yes or no. Yes or no are the class labels, right? So since there are only 2 class labels, this is called as binary classification, right? This problem is related to binary classification. Binary classification. If we have more than 2 classes, what we will do, how do we handle that, we will discuss at the end of this particular entire algorithm. So today just we will try to complete the solution to the problem. In that process we will try to understand the naive-Bayes algorithm. So friends, I'll start solving this problem. Now what I need is, I have my data set on left hand side, which you can see on the screen. There are 14 records. So it is a sample data. So sample data is available and there are 14 records in the sample data, out of which 9 are positive results, means yes occurred 9 times. Yes occurred 9 times. No occurred 5 times. So if you count on the left side, yes occurred 9 times, no occurred 5 times. Now what I want is, now for example, if someone says, suppose I need to predict, this is my problem statement, right? Outlook parameter is equal to sunny, temperature is equal to cool, temperature is cool, humidity is equal to high, wind is equal to strong. So friends, this is my problem statement. This is my problem statement, means for these parameters I need to predict what is the outcome. Play tennis. Now this I need to predict. So what is the answer? Is it yes or no? That I need to predict. So how naive-Bayes classifier will help me, that we will try to understand. Right. Play tennis. 1 second. Yeah. So play tennis. This I need to predict. So for what combinations? What is my combination of data? Let me just reduce the. So outlook is equal to sunny, temperature is equal to cool, humidity is high, wind is equal to strong. Means this particular example is not there in my sample data, my dear friends. So I can't look into the sample data and tell whether it is yes or no. Sample data is only 14 records. and the question which is asked is not there in the sample data. So I need to develop a classifier model, and that classifier model should tell whether he is going to play tennis or not, right? So now let me solve the problem. This is solution yesterday we have started. So step one, what I need to do is I need to find the probabilities of playing tennis in general, means on the entire population. So by looking at the data set, the probability of playing tennis PT equal to yes. What is that probability? Out of 14, 9 times this fellow was going to play the tennis game. Means in general, without looking at the parameters, only if I look at the outcome variable, overall probability of yes is 9 by 14, which is 0.64. Similarly, P of PT means playing tennis, my outcome variable. Y means no. So it is 5 by 14, which is equal to 0.36. Now what I need to do is step 2. I need to find conditional probability. Conditional probability, right? Conditional probability of playing tennis by looking at our question. So in my question there are some parameters. What is the parameter? Outlook is equal to sunny. Outlook equal to sunny. Now what I should do is, when outlook variable is sunny, in that case what is the outcome variable? How many times it was yes, how many times it was no? That probability means probability of playing tennis when outlook variable is sunny, that I need to calculate. So friends, I will write like this: probability of outlook variable is sunny and PT is equal to yes, right? So now whenever I say yes, what I need to do is, from the overall data set I need to take the value for yes. How many times it was yes? It was yes for 9 times. So denominator is 9. Now you have to look at the data set on the left side. Now where in the outlook parameter, wherever there is sunny, now look at play tennis outcome variable. Sunny, D1, look at D1, sunny. Play tennis, no. Sunny, no. Then D8, sunny, no. D9, outlook variable is sunny and play tennis is yes. So this is matching. So one occurrence came. Similarly, D11, outlook variable is sunny and outcome is yes. So whenever play tennis outcome is yes, in those 9 cases, 9 times it is yes. In those 9 cases, how many times sunny variable, outlook variable's value was sunny? How many times outlook variable's value was sunny when play tennis outcome was yes? That count I need to do. And if you observe, D8, D9 sunny and outcome is yes. D11 sunny and outcome is yes. Similar, so 2 times it occurred. So 2 by 9 is the proportion. Similarly, P of when it is sunny and PT equal to no, what is the conditional? This is called as conditional probability, right? P of A by B, P of A by B kind of thing. So if it is no, how many times it is no overall? It is no 5 times, right? In those 5 cases, what is the outlook variable? How many times it was sunny, that I need to check. So see the first 2 records, output is no. What is the output is no? What is the value of outlook variable? Sunny. So sunny and sunny 2 times occurred and output is no. Then come to again search the entire data set where we have sunny. D8 is sunny, output is no. 3 times it was matching. 4th time no. 5th, D11 is also no. So if you observe friends, 3 times, first 2 records outlook is sunny, play tennis is no, and record number 8 outlook is sunny, play tennis is no. So out of 5 no cases, I was able to see sunny occurred 3 times. So the conditional probability for sunny outlook variables value sunny and its conditional probability with respect to yes and no is 2 by 9 and 3 by 5 respectively, right? So what is the value of 2 by 9? It comes somewhere around 0.22. It comes somewhere around 5 6 are 30.6, right? It comes somewhere around 0.6. This process I should repeat for how many conditional probabilities I should find? I need to find conditional probability is high, wind is strong, right? So in the problem, we want to find whether a person will go for playing tennis or not based on these 4 weather conditions. So there are 4 parameters with 4 specific values, and I need to find 4 conditional probabilities, right? So what I am doing is, this is step 2. I have to continue, right? Step 2, I have to continue. P of sunny is done. Second attribute, temperature, right? Temperature. So this is outlook parameter, friends. So let me write it as outlook is equal to sunny. Outlook is equal to sunny. I am not writing it completely. I hope you understand it. Temperature is equal to cool. So when PT is equal to Y, in those cases, how many times playing tennis was yes, it was 9 times. So 9 times it is yes, we can see in the data set. Now in those 9 times, how many times temperature was cool? How many times temperature was cool? So please look at this temperature. 1 2 3 4, D5 is cool, record 5, but output is also yes, so 1 occurrence. Cool and no, I don't want this. Cool and yes, 2 occurrences. Cool and yes, 3 occurrences. So total 3 times whenever output was yes. Total number of times when output was yes is 9, out of which 3 times temperature was cool. So 3 by 9, it will come somewhere around 0.33. Similarly, P of temperature is equal to cool and PT is equal to N. So I need to do it now. Total number of no is 5, and I should go back to the data set which is available on the left side of your screen. I need to count whenever output is no. Output is no in 5 cases. In all these 5 cases, what is the value of temperature? How many times it is cool? That I need to check. So if you look at record number 6, D6, if you look at record number 6, D6, output is no and temperature is cool. So 1 occurrence. And that's all, only 1 occurrence, right? So 1 by 5, which comes around 0.2, right? So similarly, same process I need to repeat for my third parameter. Humidity is equal to high and PT is equal to yes. Humidity is equal to high, PT is equal to yes, which is 3 by 9 and it comes somewhere around 0.33. Similarly, so humidity is equal to high and PT is equal to no, and the answer comes around divided by 5 cases. Humidity is high. If you look at this one, high no, first 2 cases counted. Similarly, high no, record number 8, and record number 14, high and no. So 4 times it occurred. So 4 by 5, high 8s are 40, so 4 by 5 means 0.8. So conditional probability for 3 parameters is done. Now wind is equal to strong is another parameter. PT is equal to Y. What is the answer? PT is equal to Y, wind is equal to strong, this is 0.33. P of wind is equal to strong, PT is equal to Y. So when it is no, how many times wind was strong? It was 3 by 5 times. 3 by 5 means it comes somewhere around 0.6, right? So this is step 2, friends. So all conditional probabilities we have to calculate. Now we have done with the conditional probabilities. Now, right? Now we will continue. So what is step 3 means? Now what I need to find is probability of yes is equal to probability of whatever outlook equal to sunny, whatever calculations you have done, into probability of cool, probability of high, all parameters, individual calculations which we have done, probability of wind equal to strong, right, into overall probability, into PT of Y. So friends, please try to understand step 3. So what we are trying to do is I am trying to find the probability of yes means I need to find whether this fellow will go for playing tennis or not for given conditions, right? So in step 2 we have calculated conditional probabilities. So see here in step 2, when outlook equal to sunny and probability is equal to Y, what is the answer I got? 0.22. So this 0.22 is nothing but my P of sunny and PT equal to Y. So this 0.22, all positive, all yes values, whatever I got. For temperature equal to cool, I got 0.33, and next humidity is high, I got 0.33. I think 0.33 occurred 4 times. So all these conditional probabilities which you have calculated in step 2, right, for yes, this is for yes 1, right? This is also for yes, temperature equal to cool, second parameter. Third parameter, humidity is high and PT is equal to yes. Fourth parameter, wind is strong, PT is equal to yes. So all those yes parameters, whatever conditional probabilities you have calculated, you have to multiply them. So 0.22 into 0.33 into 0.33 into 0.33. All these 4 are conditional probabilities. All these conditional probabilities, 4 conditional probabilities, you have to multiply them with overall PT by Y. Overall PT by Y you can find in step 1, which is 9 by 14.64. Got the point? Similarly, now I will calculate P of no. P of no. So same. Now instead of yes values from conditional probabilities, I should take the values for probability. Playing tennis, chances of playing tennis are no when outlook is sunny. So those individual conditional probabilities I should take. So PT of Y we have taken. Now PT equal to N we have to take. So for first parameter, its value is 0.6 into, for temperature equal to cool, it is 0.2. For no cases, I am writing, my dear friends, 0.8 into 0.6. So these 4 values I got, which are conditional probabilities, and I should also multiply them with overall probability of playing tennis is no, which is from step 1. Step 1, 5 by 14. So which is 0.36. I should multiply them with 0.36. So these are the 2 individual products which I will get, sir. So the answer for this one is 0.22. Can you do it? I'll do it in my phone. So it comes somewhere around, this is coming somewhere around 0.005. 53. Second one, 0. Yeah, it's there, 0.206. So what we got is P of yes by P of no, right? Now friends, whatever answer we have got, this is not yet completed. So another step we have to do. Right, last step. So step 3 is clear. Step 1, 2, 3. Please let me know before we go to the last step. Please let me know in the chat box. Step 2, all conditional probabilities we have calculated. Step 3 is just multiplication of all conditional probabilities based on classes. For yes, one product you will get. For no, you will get one product. Great. Fine. Thank you. So shall we move to step 4? Some doubt. Divide or multiply? No, product only, my dear. All are products, but the last term is overall probability. That's the reason I have written it separately. We have to multiply only. All are products only. Okay, fine. Right. So we will go to step 4. Step 4 is called as normalization. Normalization. So what is normalization? We will see. Right. So 1 second. Step 4 is normalization. In normalization, what we will do is, so what are the two values I got in step 3? Probability of yes, this is 0.0053. This is 0.206. So what I need to do is I need to normalize these values. So how do I normalize? See here, 0.0053 divided by 0.206 plus 0.0053, right? So for this, what is the answer I want? Right now, one more calculation I should do. 0.206, I'll put it in numerator, right? And this sum 0.206 plus 0.0053 denominator as usual. So two answers I want, my dear friends, and I'll tell you what is the purpose of this calculation. So 0.0053 is our P of yes, right? So 0.053 is P of yes. And this is related to 0.206 is no. Fine. Now, can we calculate this? Can anybody do it, or I'll just do it in my mobile phone? Just give me 1 second. I'll just do it, or if you have done, well and good. So first, let me calculate this sum 0.206 plus 0.0053. It comes to 0.2113, right? 0.2113. Now 0.0053 divided by 0.2113 is 0.025. Is it correct? Can anybody just cross check this one? 0.025 and 0.206 divided by 0.2113, it is 0.97. 97 or 79? There's a mistake here. 0.026. Small correction. This is actually 0.02. This product, 1 second. This is another zero here. 0.0053 and 0.026. So friends, another zero will come here. So this is 0.0206. This is also 0.0206. Now let us do the calculation. All right. So let me add this again. So 0.0206 plus 0.0053 comes around 0.0259. So 0.0206 divided by 0.0206 plus 0.0053 is equal to, so 0.0259 is the denominator. Now I'll calculate the first one. 0.0053 divided by 0.0259. It is coming around this first one, sir. So it is coming around, touching around 0.204. Right? So this sum, what is the sum we got? This sum, what is this sum we got? I'll write it so that it will be clear for you. So the sum which we got was 0.0259. Similarly, here it is 0.0259. Right? So now P of y we got it, P of n we will calculate. So what is P of n? 0.0206 divided by 0.0259. It is touching somewhere around 0.79. It's a big number. I'm not writing. It's a 0.795 like that. It has a lot of precision is big, right? Now friends, what do you observe here? What do you observe here? Probability of no is close to 0.8. Probability of yes is close to 0.2. If you observe carefully, when I add them, what will be the sum? When I add them, what will be the sum? It will be 1. It will be 1. So please observe that. Why normalization is done is, why is normalization so important? Means we are dealing with probabilities. When we are dealing with probabilities, ultimately, if you are having two events, probability of occurrence of one event is X, probability of occurrence of another event is Y, means then sum of X and Y should be 1. That's the reason, if you observe, if you come back to the previous step, if you observe in step 3, whatever answers we got in step 3, please observe here, 0.0053, 0.0206. If you add them, you will not get 1. Got the point? So that's the reason step 4 is important, wherein we normalize our results. So step 4 is very important. It is called as normalization. So in normalization, what we have done, sir? So we have done two calculations. One is P of S divided by P of S plus P of no. Right? This is one calculation. Probability of no divided by P of yes plus P of no. Right? So two things we have done. And for first one, we got the answer close to 0.2. For second one, we got the answer close to 0.79, or you can say 0.8. Right? So 0.79 we got. Now look at the numerator. P of no is 0.79, P of yes is 0.2. So which one is greater, sir? Which one is greater? Probability of no is greater than probability of yes. 0.79 is greater than 0.2, and hence this fellow will not go for playing tennis. So answer is playing tennis. Answer is no. Was our question. This was the question. So when outlook was sunny, temperature was cool, humidity was high, wind was strong, what is the probability of playing tennis? So what I have done for sunny, I have calculated the conditional probabilities. I have calculated when temperature is cool, what is the conditional probability? Like the conditional probabilities you have to calculate for every attribute, and those conditional probabilities will be multiplied, and along with and then normalize the probabilities. Finally, after normalization, compare which class has got more probability. Probability of yes is 0.2, probability of no is 0.79. Friends, if you observe, you may get this problem in your external exam also. If you observe very carefully, when you normalize your results, you should get values something like this. If I add them, I should get 1. If I add them, I should get 1. I have not written the complete fraction, but if I write them, I'll get 1. Right? So probability of yes, probability of no after normalization should be, if I sum them, I should get 1. That's the purpose of normalization. If you're not getting close to 1, it means in the previous step, you might have committed some mistake. In your conditional probabilities, in your individual products, there is a mistake, right? So what is the answer to this problem? Playing tennis is equal to no. So is it clear to everyone how we have solved this problem? All steps in Naive-Bayes algorithm, Naive-Bayes classifier, are they clear, my dear friends? Please let me know in the chat box. B5 has responded. Please, everyone, did you understand how to apply Naive-Bayes? There is one question. 514. Classify, which will classify a thing here? Classification, that is what? By outcome variable. See here, how many different possible outcomes are there? 514. We have two possible outcomes, right? Either he will go for playing tennis or he will not go for playing tennis. So yes or no. These are the two classes. And my Naive-Bayes classifier will tell, based on certain given data, it will tell whether a person will go for playing tennis or not. For example, in the problem which we have solved, we have seen when outlook was sunny, humidity is high, wind is strong, and temperature is cool, what will happen? He will not go for playing tennis. You may ask, sir, how can you tell? I have already 14 records in the data set. Based on that 14 records, I applied my naive-Bayes classifier on those 14 records. I have a formula in place. I applied my formula. I calculated conditional probabilities. And based on these conditional probabilities, the chances of occurrences of an event, that is playing tennis or not playing tennis, will be computed, right? So based on the final value, based on the final probabilities which we have got, probability of not playing tennis are more than the probability of playing tennis. PT of Y was only 0.2, whereas PT of no was close to 0.8. That's the reason PT of no is 0.8. So I can conclude that when outlook is sunny, temperature is cool, humidity is high, wind is strong, the person will not go for playing tennis, right? Is it clear, 514? Is it clear to you? I don't know whether it's there or not. Right, so this is how a naive-Bayes algorithm will work. Now, a lot of interesting points, interesting questions, right? So this particular problem, I can say naive-Bayes classifier was used for binary classification. For binary classification, binary means only two classes I have, or more than three classes, not binary. I may have multiple classes, like based on the intermediate marks, based on SSC marks, based on MSET rank, based on caste, like that. Let us say there are 4 or 5 input parameters. Now I need to tell whether a student will get a seat in what we say private engineering college, non-autonomous, or private engineering college autonomous, or maybe a university, or maybe a NIT, or maybe a IIT. So in my output, I can have multiple classes, more than 3, 4, 5 classes can be there. In that case, can I use naive-Bayes classifier? That is the question. Please let me know. It is just a question which you need to answer based on your understanding, based on your own idea, your own thinking, right? Because I have not discussed anything about naive-Bayes classifier previously. So for binary classification, definitely you can apply it. We have applied, we have solved a problem. But instead of two classes, if I have more than two, then what will happen? Can I use naive-Bayes classifier? Okay, yes. Why you say no? If you say no, then there should be some reason. 572. We don't know. No, I am not talking about number of colleges, my dear friend. Types of colleges. We have lot of data. No, we have lot of data. Previous MSET data we have. Previous ranks we have. Based on the ranks, based on the caste, we can tell. No, based on previous admissions, we can tell whether this fellow may get it in NIT or not. No, how many colleges is not a problem. So my question was not specific to this admissions thing. My question is very general. If you have more than two classes, what will happen? May not be this admissions example. You can imagine any other example, right? You have more than two classes. Instead of yes, no, true, false, there may be one or more other probability. Right, we can apply naive-Bayes classifier even though you have multiple classes, no problem. We can apply. What will happen is, see here, in this problem, how many classes we had? We had only two classes, yes and no, right? Just imagine I may have another class. Let us say yes, no, maybe something. Just imagine there is another class called as maybe, right? So then what I will do, I will go to my records. Out of 14 record, let us say 9 or yes, no or 5. I'll just make it 7. This I'll make it 4. So 2 removed, 1 removed, and this is maybe is 3, right? Imagine. So like this I can do. Now when I deal with probabilities, I will find one more probability now, P of Pt. This maybe does not look good. We call it as yes, no. Tied. Let us say tied. Match is tied. Without playing, match is tied, or match is what we say cancelled. Something like that. Some other parameter. Okay, fine. Let me put it maybe. So like that, if I have more than two classes, what I'll do is I'll repeat this on my third one also. 3 by 14. Now at the end, what I will do here, the way I have computed probabilities for two outcome variables, I'll do it for 3 variables. But all 3 variables, when I sum up, I should get 1. So nothing wrong. We can apply Naive Bayes classifier even if you have more than 2 variables, right? This is applicable. There is no doubt in that. But it is recommended in many cases. It has been found that Naive Bayes classifier will be more accurate only in binary classification problems. That is one thing, right? Another disadvantage of Naive Bayes classifier. Can anybody guess the disadvantage? Any disadvantage of Naive Bayes classifier? So we can go for, if you have multiple more apart from binary classification, if you have more than 2 classes also, you can go for Naive Bayes, but it is not recommended because it may not be accurate. Can you predict the problems with Naive Bayes? Means what kind of problems are some people have already responded. For each class label we will find, yeah, that's true. B5 works on only classification. Yeah, obviously name itself says no, it is a classifier. That is not a problem. Works on classification problems is not a problem because that itself was, its intention was to do classification. So it was developed to what we say it was developed for doing classification only. So obviously it will not be able to do anything else. So that can't be a problem. It's like, you know, I have developed the electric bike, right? Only the purpose of electric bike was to deal with this environmental issues, right? So obviously environmental issues will be addressed, but we all should accept that since it's an electric bike, obviously its performance will not be same as a normal bike. But that we don't treat it as a problem, right? Electric bikes are meant for something else, right? If I say electric bike, the performance or the pickup speed of electric bike is not same as my original normal petrol bike, that's not correct, because electric bikes were not developed or not designed for that purpose. They were designed with a different purpose. So similarly, our Naive Bayes classifier's purpose is to classify. It will classify. So only classification it will do. That's the reason it is disadvantage, means it is not wrong. It was developed as a classifier, so it will work as classifier. Don't expect it to do beyond that. Great. Who is this B5? Yeah, you got the point, my dear. Great. every one of us should appreciate you. So that's great. That's really great. What will happen is, suppose yes, no, we have taken. There are two problems here. Problem number one, if, let me show you the data set. Look at the data set. We have 14 records, out of which let us say 9 are positive, 5 are negative, right? So actually original data set, original in original data, lot of records can come, right? One sample record we have used just now to solve our problem, where outlook was sunny, humidity was high, temperature was cool, and wind was strong, and our algorithm or our new base classifier told that this fellow will not go for playing tennis. Okay, fine. But if you look at my existing data, in this we have 9 out of 14 records, 9 are positive, 5 are negative. Suppose unfortunately someone gave me a data set, and in that data set there are 14 records. Let us say 13 are positive and only one is negative record. Means if my data set is not properly distributed, then what will happen is my classifier, see, that is what is the problem in all machine learning techniques, right? Machine learning algorithms, they learn from the training data and they try to perform based on the knowledge which they have gained from the training data. So what will happen in naive Bayes classifier also, if the classifier gets 14 records as part of its training data, and if all out of 14, if all 13 records are positive cases, yes is the output, and in only one record the output is no, then my classifier's accuracy will be very poor, especially if the records are expected to be no. My classifier may shoot it, or my classifier may conclude it to be positive. Means since the learning which happened was not properly done, most of the cases which it has seen during training was positive cases. It has seen very few cases of negative examples. So its performance, especially when the output is supposed to be negative, then my machine learning algorithm naive Bayes classifier may give me incorrect result or less accurate results. So the if the data set does not contain what we say distribution of records is not so uniform, then it can create a problem. And it may even happen like I may have 3 class variables, and in my training data only 2 class variables are appearing. For example, yes no is there in my data set. Suppose there is another possibility called as match abandoned, but in my records, in my training data, there is no record called as in which match is abandoned. So what will happen? My naive Bayes classifier will never come to know that there is another class called as abandoned. And what will happen? It will never try to predict properly when the expected output should be abandoned. My naive Bayes classifier will always fail. So it strongly depends on the data, right? So like that, there are certain limitations in naive Bayes classifier. So by taking an example, we understood naive Bayes classifier, right? Now if you look at the algorithm, probably you can easily understand that. And in the next class, we will have a quick glance at that algorithm, and then we will move on, right? So till this point, is it clear to everyone? Today's session is clear to everyone. Please respond in the chat box before we leave.